People think that we go through a linear decline in aging. We don't. We go through a series of catabolic crises. And a catabolic crisis would be something like someone falls, breaks a hip, and never regains full functioning. Or someone gets pneumonia, is on bed rest for 5 days or a period of time. This compounds upon itself. These catabolic crises compound upon themselves, and individuals never return to full function. The thing that becomes interesting and very important is that when you maintain the health of skeletal muscle, low muscle mass would be an early indication of osteoporosis. Bone attaches to muscle pulls bone, creates a load, a stimulation that is required for building. I mean, imagine the astronauts or an individual who, again, is on bed rest. When you are training and you are putting force and load on your body, then you're able to maintain the entirety of the architecture of the body. And this all makes useful sense. But it is underappreciated as an organ system. And the other thing about skeletal muscle and depression and mood is that skeletal muscle and inflammation, as you contract it, the duration and intensity of contraction releases myokines. So myokines, have you heard of myokines?
I have, but please educate us.
Yes, so myokines are peptide hormones. Again, skeletal muscle is an endocrine organ that travel throughout the body. The most famous one is interleukin-6. You have interleukin-15, interleukin-6. These affect lipolysis. They affect the utilization of glucose. There's this idea of training in a low glycogen state that might increase a more robust amounts of these interleukins.
Is that right?
These myokines.
Great, because I love training fasted
which
in the morning.
Which is interesting. And we always think about exercise as this way to improve metabolism. It doesn't so much do that at rest, but what it does is when you exercise, you improve, again, glucose utilization, but also you release these myokines. It's not just the physical activity, but it's also the subsequent effects and the subsequent molecules that skeletal muscle releases.
I just want to say, realizing I'm interrupting you, amen to that. So often people look at how many calories were burned in a given bout of resistance training, and while that is perhaps interesting, the wavefront of other endocrine and molecular factors that set in motion by proper resistance training, to me, is the most interesting and important aspect. Meaning in the hours afterwards, sure, you're going to continue to burn calories at an elevated rate, but it's all the effects of the hormones and, as you're pointing out, the interleukins that last hours and hours and even days that, at least to my mind or my read of the literature, are the most interesting, most beneficial.
It's fascinating. And actually, the science is relatively new. It came out of Pedersen's lab, Bente Pedersen in Copenhagen. Extraordinary work. She is in part an immunologist and exercise physiologist. When you train and you release these myokines, which are based on the intensity and duration of your activity, release something called capsaicin B and irisin. These myokines then stimulate BDNF release in the brain.
Brain-derived neurotrophic
Exactly, which is a component of neurogenesis. When we think about the plethora of activity of what skeletal muscle does, it is no surprise that, number one, it's free to move.
Can I just mention something about BDNF, if I may? I spent much of my earlier career working on neuroplasticity, brain development, and BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, gets mentioned from time to time. And as you mentioned, it's involved in different neurogenesis pathways. But I think one of its most interesting effects is its role in consolidating existing connections, what we call synaptic connections in the brain. And I'm so glad you mentioned this, because what you're effectively saying is that doing resistance training properly sets in motion a molecular cascade that feeds back to a molecular cascade within the brain that reinforces the neural circuits that exist. And one of the hallmarks of aging is essentially a degradation of neural circuitry,
right?
Sometimes in extreme cases like Alzheimer's or other forms of dementia, Parkinson's, etc. Mm-hmm. But we know that the volume of gray matter of neurons within the brain declines with age. We know that the neural circuitry suffers, the speed of neuronal transmission suffers, and it's long been observed, but only now objectively substantiated, that exercise can not just maintain but even improve brain function over time. And so thank you for allowing me to kind of expand on what you just said. I just think that if ever there was a potent medicine for improving brain health, it's exercise, and in particular, resistance exercise. I think that the case for cardiovascular exercise is probably that it maintains the components of blood flow that are also critical for the blood.